Egypt had queens, consorts, and royal mothers. Hatshepsut became something more dangerous. She stepped into the role of king and ruled Egypt as pharaoh. She ruled in the 18th dynasty, when New Kingdom Egypt was wealthy, expansionist, and deeply tied to the sacred idea that kingship maintained divine order. Hatshepsut was the daughter of Thutmose I and the wife of Thutmose II. So from birth and marriage, she stood at the heart of royal legitimacy. When Thutmose II died, the heir Thutmose III was still a child. Hatshepsut first appeared as regent, the guardian of a boy king and the state. That role was supposed to be temporary. Instead, Hatshepsut gradually moved from protecting the throne to occupying it in her own right. She adopted the full royal titulary and was presented not simply as queen, but as pharaoh, the supreme ruler of Upper and Lower Egypt. In Egypt, kingship was sacred as well as political. The ruler linked temple, government, justice, and the cosmic balance known as maat. That is why a woman becoming pharaoh was so unusual. Hatshepsut had to prove not only competence, but also divine legitimacy and ritual correctness. Her monuments answered that challenge by presenting Hatshepsut as the chosen child of Amun, giving her ascent a powerful theological foundation. She did not destroy Egyptian tradition or invent a new religion. Instead, she used traditional language, titles, and sacred imagery with remarkable precision. Her rule was anchored in Thebes and in the cult of Amun, the most influential religious force in Egypt during the early New Kingdom. Temples like Karnak were not only places of worship, they were also economic centers, political stages, and engines of royal prestige. Hatshepsut strengthened that world through monuments, inscriptions, and carefully staged acts of legitimacy, making her reign look natural rather than revolutionary. Her boldest move was visual. She chose to appear with the established symbols of male kingship so that authority would be instantly recognizable. Statues showed her with the royal headcloth, kilt, and sometimes the false beard of a pharaoh, all markers of accepted sovereign power. Yet, some images still preserved feminine features. The result was not a simple disguise, but a controlled blend of queenly identity and kingly office. Hatshepsut was not pretending to be someone else. She was expanding the visual language of kingship so that her own rule could fit inside it. Other statues cast her in sacred form, including as Osiris, linking her body to ideas of rebirth, permanence, and eternal royal legitimacy. The repeated heads from her temple show how carefully her image was managed. Her face itself became part of the political architecture of rule. Her sphinxes pushed the message even further, combining lion strength, royal symbolism, and her own likeness into one statement of sovereign force. The throne name Matkare tied her identity to truth, order, and the solar world, reinforcing that her kingship belonged within cosmic balance. Modern reconstructions remind us that behind the carved images stood a real ruler, intelligent, strategic, and fully aware of what power required. Hatshepsut understood that in Egypt, symbols were never mere decoration. They were instruments of persuasion, obedience, memory, and government. Her authority spread through monuments, scarabs, and official inscriptions that carried her names across sacred, political, and administrative space. One of the key figures of her reign was Senenmut, the official most closely linked to her building program and perhaps to her political confidence. His prominence shows how effective and organized Hatshepsut's court could be. Her regime relied on loyal elites who turned royal vision into reality. Her daughter, Neferur, also mattered politically, helping project dynastic continuity and stability around a ruler whose position still needed careful support. Officials, temple personnel, and administrators transformed the royal image into working government, proving that her power was institutional as well as symbolic. Thutmose III remained present as a co-ruler in theory, but Hatshepsut dominated the public face of power during the core of her reign. That balance was delicate. She had to rule strongly enough to command Egypt, while avoiding the appearance of outright dynastic rupture. Later, history would celebrate Thutmose III as a conqueror. But Hatshepsut's own reign emphasized stability, building wealth, and internal confidence. Questions of succession never vanished entirely. Every monument and title also helped answer the silent question of who truly had the right to rule. Her legitimacy rested not only on theology, but also on her close link to the royal household inherited from Thutmose II and Thutmose I. After her death, Thutmose III launched major campaigns, and later memory often contrasted his military fame with Hatshepsut's more prosperous style of rule. But Hatshepsut's most famous achievement was not conquest. It was the ability to create wealth and prestige through controlled long-distance exchange. Her expedition to Punt advertised reach, organization, and luxury. It showed that trade, tribute, and spectacle could strengthen a pharaoh as effectively as war. At Deir el-Bahri, architecture made her reign look orderly, elegant, and almost inevitable, turning stone terraces into a lasting argument for her authority. Even so, later rulers damaged her memory, but they did not erase the truth. Hatshepsut was one of the most successful and inventive pharaohs Egypt ever had.